29th of March looms ever closer. The Westminster Village is obsessed with whether Theresa May can get her deal over the line or whether, in fact, come the 29th, Britain will crash out with no deal. But for industries like the pharmaceutical industry, it may already be too late. I'm here at a warehouse in Hatfield, just north of London, belonging to Eisai, a major Japanese pharmaceutical company. As you can see around me, already they've begun stockpiling ingredients, components and derivatives for up to 6 months' supply of medicine. Much more than Matt Hancock, the Health Secretary, recommended of only 6 weeks. This is for a production line which has gone into overdrive, working almost around the clock in order that patients have access to life-saving medicines like cancer drugs, epilepsy drugs, thyroid drugs and the like. You're spending millions of pounds already on the prospect of no deal before it's even happened.
Exactly, we are. We've probably spent at least £10 million on this, but we have to do that because we have to make sure, as you were saying, those vital medicines get across to patients in the UK, but across the EU 27, and to ensure for our supply chain our vital exports. We export from here to over 70 countries.
I'm stood now on the Gaza border with Staff Sergeant L, who's part of an elite commando brigade. We can't reveal his proper name, but Staff Sergeant L, you participated in one of the live fire events involving protesters and possibly Hamas actors quite recently. Can you talk me through exactly what happened and what you experienced?
Okay, so on the 14th of May, my Special Forces unit was deployed here on the Gaza border, because basically we got a lead from intelligence that Hamas are using citizens as cover to breach into Israel. Commanders would not let us shoot at all. Okay, there was no exceptions to shoot because there were many citizens and we didn't know who were the actual terrorists. So basically what happened is when the Hamas terrorists started shooting at us, okay, the citizens of Gaza got nervous and scared and they started running away. Okay, so what happened now was my team, we waited till the citizens cleared. The moment we saw a Hamas terrorist hold a gun or anything that's harming us, our team, we shot at these terrorists. Okay, now at the end of the day, 10 terrorists were killed. Okay. It was a really difficult situation for my team because here there were many civilians and you know the Hamas terrorists, they were hiding behind them and hiding within them. So you know, on the one hand you're getting shot at by Hamas terrorists over here, but you don't want to shoot randomly at civilians. So the soldier himself is in a very difficult situation. Okay.
Sure. Do you ever fear that you might have hit someone accidentally, or is that something that keeps you up at night? Or
no, so I know for me personally and my team, I know 100% that when we shot at terrorists, we saw terrorists holding a gun and trying to shoot at us. Not one person I know in my whole team that was in this event has any doubt as to how we acted, because we know that we only shoot people that shoot at us. And at the end of the day, I know that the person that...
But in the smoke and in the loudness and in the fear and in the excitement and the adrenaline, it can be easy to potentially, I don't know, mistake a television camera for a gun or something. Do you know what I mean? It's easy to talk about clear cut here when we're standing relatively safe, but in the event itself, it must be harder to be sure. You're
right. The situation's horrible. There's smoke. There's people making noises. There's bullets being shot. But like I said before, is the system that we've learned doesn't allow for us to just randomly shoot.
Now, unless you've been living under a rock for the last week, you'll know that tomorrow is England's Crunch World Cup game with the mighty Sweden. But just how well do the great British public know tomorrow's opponents? Well, I've donned my Gareth Southgate waistcoat and I've come down here to Croydon's IKEA to find out whether shoppers here can tell their Swedish left-backs from their IKEA lampshades. Let's find out. Which one of these is a midfielder for Leipzig in the Bundesliga? Is it Forsberg or Forza?
I'd say Forsberg.
Yes, he is. Well played. Which of these is a Celtic defender?
Okay.
And which of them is a shoe rack? Okay, is it Mikael Lustig or Mikael Lustig?
Lustig.
Lustig is the shoe rack, I'm afraid.
Oh, no.
Helander or Helander?
The first one.
Helander. Helander is a steel kitchen top from IKEA. Is it Christopher Nordli or Christopher Nordfeldt? Nordfeldt is the goalkeeper.
Well
hey,
done.
there you
Good
go.
job.
Sven Bertil or Svensson
Svensson
is the player.
is the player.
Yeah, I think Svensson's the player as well.
Well done. Helander or Helander? Which of them is a defender for Bologna?
I'm gonna get it wrong. Helander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, high five.
There you go. Sick.
I spent the morning here at yet another stabbing in South London. It's the fifth in just 6 days, and in the last few moments I was speaking to some witnesses and trying to get a picture of what had been happening, and I spoke to a cleaner in the street who said that he noticed something in one of the bushes. He led me over, and in fact it looks like a kitchen knife. It's a 5 or 6 inch bladed knife. There does appear to be something red on it which looks like blood. We have informed police. As you can see, police just over my shoulder there now investigating. The cordon where the stabbing actually took place is just behind that red car. You can just see way in the distance there. So we're now outside the bounds of the police cordon. We have alerted police, and they are presumably now arriving to investigate. So let's turn to a few of the highlights that I've selected for this week. I think it's worth starting actually with the first commemoration that we heard. This was on Monday, and Marcio Gomez and his wife took the stage and spoke very movingly of the youngest victim of the Grenfell fire, which was their unborn son, Logan, who was stillborn in the day after they were evacuated from the fire. And he spoke passionately. They had a really affecting image on the screen behind them, which will always stay with me, it was the wall of the nursery that they'd prepared for Logan, and it just said, "Twinkle, twinkle, little star, you never know how much or how loved you are," is what it said. And he spoke deeply affectingly, but very, very passionately about his unborn son, Logan.
You never know what you are made of until you're broken. And I can tell you this, my wife, she's made of the hardest material I know. And without her strength and courage, I would not be here.
It's still difficult to listen to now as I listen back to it, James. I think there's something even more upsetting about the number of young lives cut short by this tragedy, and I think that's a theme running through the clips I've selected for you today. The next one I want to play you, this was on Wednesday, I think, but we had 2 days of commemorations actually for a family, Rania Hassan and her 2 daughters, Fatiha and Rania Ibrahim was her name, and 2 daughters, Fatiha Hassan and her sister Hania. They were 4 and 3. And on Wednesday, the family chose to play just a few moments of a voice recording of Fatiha, the 4-year-old daughter, in happier times. And she begins speaking in Arabic, but she does then turn to English. But just a quick, to paraphrase, she's blowing kisses to her cousins, and she's so full of love and light, and it's really a beautiful thing to listen to.
أنا أحبكم كثيرا باقر أنا أحبك أبوسك وأدي لك بوس مصطفى أنا دي المبوس إيش دي البوس مودة أنا I want to hug you مودة I want to hug you Mustafa I want to hug you Aisha and do something with yourselves. Thank you, bye-bye.
There's no words.
No, and that clip was played to probably the deadest silence that I heard all week in the room. It was
She's so alive.
yeah, and so full of light and joy.